Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that might surprise you. It's about foods sitting in your refrigerator right now, foods you've probably reheated dozens of times without thinking twice. But here's what most people don't know. When you reheat certain common foods, they can undergo chemical changes that put serious stress on one of your body's most important organs, your pancreas. Now I know what you might be thinking. You've been reheating leftovers your whole life and you feel fine. But the truth is, damage to the pancreas often happens silently, building up over years without obvious symptoms until something goes seriously wrong. And if you're over 70, your pancreas is especially vulnerable. It doesn't bounce back the way it used to. It works harder and recovers more slowly from the stress we put on it every single day. So in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 common foods that should never be reheated, or at least reheated very carefully. Understanding these risks could make a real difference in your health and energy levels as you age. Let's start with something that might be in your kitchen right now. Leftover fried chicken, sautéed vegetables, French fries, or anything cooked in oil. When you reheat these foods, especially more than once, the oils go through a chemical transformation that creates toxic compounds harmful to your pancreas. Here's what happens. Every time oil is heated, it oxidizes. Think of it like rust forming on metal, but this is happening to the fat molecules in your food. With each reheating, this oxidation gets worse, producing substances called aldehydes and free radicals. These compounds are genuinely dangerous. They damage the cells in your pancreas, cause chronic inflammation, and disrupt your body's natural detoxification systems. Your pancreas has two critical jobs. It produces enzymes to digest your food, especially fats, and it makes insulin to regulate your blood sugar. When aldehydes from reheated oils flood into your system, they interfere with both of these functions. Your pancreas has to work overtime, and over time this can lead to serious problems like chronic pancreatitis, insulin resistance, and even pancreatic cancer. Now here's something important. You might not feel these effects right away. The symptoms are subtle. Maybe you feel bloated after meals. Maybe you're unusually tired after eating. Maybe you have a dull ache in your upper abdomen that comes and goes. Most people ignore these signs because they seem minor, but they're your pancreas telling you it's under stress. The type of oil matters too. Oils like canola, sunflower, and soybean oil break down very easily when reheated. They produce the most irritating compounds. On the other hand, olive oil and avocado oil are more stable and retain their healthy fats better even when heated multiple times. But honestly, the safest approach is simple. Don't reheat foods cooked in oil at all if you can avoid it. Remember, if you're over 70, your body's antioxidant defenses aren't as strong as they used to be. You can't fight off these free radicals as effectively. Every time you reheat that fried chicken or those roasted vegetables, you're asking your pancreas to handle something it's increasingly struggling to manage. Now let's talk about spinach. Yes, spinach, one of the healthiest vegetables you can eat, can actually become dangerous when you reheat it. This surprises a lot of people, but the science is clear. Spinach contains high levels of naturally occurring nitrates. When it's fresh, these nitrates are harmless, even beneficial. But when you cook spinach, let it cool down and then reheat it, those nitrates convert into nitrites. And nitrites can further transform into compounds called nitrosamines, which are known carcinogens linked to both pancreatic cancer and stomach cancer. The risk increases if your cooked spinach sits out at room temperature for too long before you refrigerate it. Bacteria naturally present on the leaves accelerate this conversion from nitrates to dangerous nitrites. This is why food safety experts recommend refrigerating cooked spinach within 1 hour and never reheating it. So what should you do? Eat your spinach fresh in salads, or if you're going to cook it, only make as much as you'll eat in one sitting. If you do have leftovers, eat them cold the next day rather than heating them up. Add cold cooked spinach to a salad or eat it as a cold side dish. It's perfectly safe that way. This nitrate issue isn't unique to spinach either. Other leafy greens like kale, lettuce, and celery have the same problem, though spinach tends to be the most sensitive. If you notice digestive unease or unexpected drops in your energy after eating reheated greens, your pancreas might be reacting to these converted compounds. The lesson here is simple. Just because a food is healthy when fresh doesn't mean it stays healthy when reheated. Your pancreas needs you to be mindful even with vegetables. Rice is a staple in many households, and leftover rice seems harmless enough. But rice has a hidden danger that most people have never heard about. It can harbor spores of a bacterium called Bacillus cereus. These spores survive the cooking process, and when rice sits at room temperature, they multiply rapidly. Here's the frightening part. When you reheat that rice, even if you heat it thoroughly, you cannot destroy the toxins these bacteria have already produced. You might kill the bacteria themselves, but their toxins remain active and can make you sick. The immediate symptoms might be nausea and vomiting, but there's a deeper concern. These bacterial toxins cause chronic inflammation in your pancreas and create oxidative stress that damages pancreatic cells over time. If you're older than 70, you're more vulnerable to this than younger people. Your stomach acid isn't as strong, so it's less effective at killing bacteria. Your liver function has slowed down, so it's harder for your body to process and eliminate these toxins. What might cause mild discomfort in a younger person can lead to serious inflammation and long-term damage in seniors. So how do you protect yourself? First, cook only as much rice as you plan to eat. If you do have leftovers, refrigerate them within 1 hour of cooking. Don't let that pot of rice sit on the counter while you finish dinner and clean up. Get it into the fridge quickly. When you're ready to eat it again, reheat it thoroughly. It should be piping hot all the way through, not just warm. Use a pan on the stove rather than a microwave if possible, because microwaves can heat unevenly, leaving cool spots where bacteria can survive. Never reheat rice more than once, that's a hard rule, and if you're cooking a large batch, consider freezing portions in small containers. Freezing halts bacterial growth completely. And you can thaw and heat individual portions as needed. One more thing, be careful about cross-contamination. If you use the same spoon to serve fresh rice and then touch leftover rice, you're spreading bacteria. Wash your hands and utensils between handling different batches. These small habits make a big difference. The bottom line is this: rice should be treated as a fresh dish, not a leftover convenience. Your pancreas will thank you for that extra care. Chicken is probably one of the most commonly reheated foods in any household. But when you reheat chicken, especially if you do it improperly, you're creating problems for your digestive system and your pancreas. Fresh cooked chicken has proteins that are stable and easy to digest. But when you refrigerate chicken and then heat it up again, the protein structure changes. It becomes denser, tougher, and harder for your body to break down. Your pancreas has to produce extra enzymes to digest this altered protein, and that puts strain on an organ that may already be struggling. There's also a bacterial concern. Chicken can harbor dangerous bacteria like Salmonella and Campylobacter. If you don't reheat it evenly or thoroughly, especially if you use a microwave, these bacteria can survive. For seniors, a bacterial infection isn't just an upset stomach. It can lead to serious inflammation and a higher risk of complications. But there's another issue that doesn't get talked about enough. When you reheat chicken, particularly at high temperatures, you create compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are molecules that form when proteins and sugars react under heat. AGEs circulate in your bloodstream and cause oxidative stress throughout your body. They damage tissues, contribute to inflammation, and have been specifically linked to pancreatic dysfunction and cancer risk. You can actually tell when chicken has been reheated too many times or improperly. It develops a rubbery texture and an off taste. That's a sign the proteins have broken down in ways that make them harder to digest and potentially harmful. So what's the solution? Cook only the amount of chicken you'll eat in one meal. If you do have leftovers, refrigerate them within an hour. When you're ready to reheat, do it properly. Use an oven or a skillet on the stove rather than a microwave. Slice the chicken into smaller pieces before reheating so the heat penetrates evenly. Make sure it's steaming hot throughout before you eat it. And here's an important tip: avoid reheating fried or grilled chicken if possible. The combination of altered proteins and oxidized oils from the cooking fat creates a double burden on your pancreas. If you made grilled chicken for dinner, enjoy the leftovers cold in a salad the next day instead. Remember, it's not just about food safety in the traditional sense. It's about understanding that every time you reheat chicken, you're changing its chemistry in ways that add silent strain to your pancreas. That strain accumulates over time, and it can contribute to serious health problems down the road. Our fifth and final food is potatoes. Like spinach, potatoes are wonderfully healthy when prepared fresh, but they undergo some troubling changes when you cool them down and reheat them. When potatoes cool after cooking, their starches reorganize into what's called resistant starch. This is actually good for you. It feeds healthy bacteria in your gut and doesn't spike your blood sugar the way regular starch does. But when you reheat those cooled potatoes, you break down that resistant starch and convert it back into simple sugars. Your blood glucose spikes, and your pancreas has to pump out insulin to deal with it. If you're older and your insulin sensitivity has already declined, these repeated blood sugar spikes put tremendous stress on your pancreas. Over time, this can contribute to insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, and pancreatic dysfunction. But there's a more serious concern. When potatoes are reheated, especially at high temperatures, they can form a compound called acrylamide. This is a known carcinogen that damages DNA and has been linked to an increased risk of pancreatic cancer. The browning and crisping you get when you reheat roasted or fried potatoes is a sign that acrylamide is forming. There's also a bacterial risk with potatoes. If cooked potatoes sit at room temperature for more than 2 hours, they can harbor spores of Clostridium botulinum. This is the same bacterium that causes botulism. The spores can survive reheating and produce toxins that are extremely dangerous. So with potatoes, you're dealing with a combination of risks: bacterial toxins, harmful chemical compounds, and blood sugar disruption. For someone over 70, this triple threat can quietly undermine pancreatic function. Here's how to handle potatoes safely. Refrigerate any leftovers within 1 hour of cooking. If you're going to reheat them, do it thoroughly, not just until they're warm. But honestly, the best approach is to eat leftover potatoes cold. Add them to a salad. Make a cold potato dish with herbs and a little olive oil. You'll preserve the resistant starch, avoid the blood sugar spike, and eliminate the formation of acrylamide. Just like with the other foods we've discussed, the key is awareness. Potatoes aren't inherently dangerous, but the way you handle them after cooking makes all the difference to your pancreas and your overall health. So there you have it, 5 common foods that can damage your pancreas when reheated: foods cooked in oils, spinach and other leafy greens, rice, chicken, and potatoes. The thread connecting all of them is this: reheating changes their chemistry, creates toxins, or allows bacteria to thrive, and your pancreas pays the price. As we age, our organs become more sensitive. They work harder and recover more slowly. Your pancreas especially deserves your protection because once it's damaged, it's very difficult to repair. Choosing to eat freshly cooked meals, storing leftovers properly, and reheating carefully when you do might seem like small changes, but they add up to something significant. More energy, clearer thinking, less inflammation, a healthier, longer life. Before you microwave those leftovers tonight, ask yourself, is this convenience worth the silent damage? Your future self will thank you for pausing and making the wiser choice. If you found this information helpful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Share it with friends and family who might benefit from knowing these risks. Leave a comment below and let me know which of these foods surprised you most, or share how you plan to change your habits going forward. Your engagement helps us continue creating content that truly makes a difference in people's lives. Thank you for watching, and here's to your health.